family, I wanted to come on here and do a story time, okay? I wanted to talk about crack cocaine, okay? I feel like I had the need to talk about crack cocaine because for some reason our people think they need to make up stories when we have so many stories that need to be told. And crack cocaine is a story that needs to be told. Family, I grew up in the 60s. I was born in 61. So I grew up in the 60s. I grew up in the 70s. And by the 80s, I was in my 20s. So I grew up in a time when our communities were well intact. Yeah, they were. They were. People had jobs. Everybody had jobs. Everybody was living okay. We was living okay. You know what I mean? Because, see, one thing about us, we live in nature. So we are not greedy people. So, we had homes, two-parent households. Okay? I didn't grow up in a two-parent household, but my mother and father were married. Okay? So that was another thing. Majority of us were married. Okay? Until crack cocaine came. Okay? Now, I grew up in Michigan. Okay? Michigan is the motor state. Okay? Where cars are made. Okay? So when cars being made, everybody was making money. Everybody was doing good, okay? We had homes. Our communities were intact. Kids went to school. Their parents supported them. You couldn't go in this class and act a fool because your parents, you couldn't go home. First of all, you get paddled, okay? That was when that paddle was right. And you couldn't go home and tell your parents that you got paddled because then you knew you was going to get your butt whooped again. You see what I'm saying? So you always, if you had some problems at school, you didn't let your parents know because if they found out, oh, you wasn't doing that again, okay? We didn't have a lot of behavior problems in the classroom. Okay, so about the 80s, that's when crack cocaine came into our communities, family. And crack cocaine brought a lot of, oh my goodness, it just brought a lot of heartache and pain to us because not only were the young men selling the drugs, young men, I'm talking about like teens, selling the drugs in the community, they were also going to jail, they were getting killed. There was a lot of that going on, but this was all new to us and it all came about and came out of nowhere. I mean, it really came out of nowhere. We were doing well and then all